A gun store in Pennsylvania refuses to sell guns to Muslims and people who support Hillary Clinton. Fascinating. Now, this is the guy who owns this gun shop is Paul Chandler, and he owns Altra Firearms. Altra with an A, okay? So not Ultra. And it's located in rural Jackson Center, Pennsylvania. Now, he says, no, he will not sell guns to both Muslims and Hillary Clinton supporters because they're terrorists. Terrorists? Wow. Well, okay, so there's one thing in having a difference of political opinion and difference of religion. But terrorists? Damn. Now, he said, no, actually, he posted a sign on the door of Altra Firearms, as well as taking out a newspaper ad that says, quote, "Please, no Muslims or Hillary supporters. We do not feel safe selling to terrorists." Well, that's pretty clear what he thinks of both Muslims and most mainline Democrats. Okay. Now, Chandler told Think Progress that, quote, he is free to turn both Democrats and Muslims away because, hey, I'm not breaking any laws. I just don't want to sell them guns. Quote, she clearly stated, Hillary Clinton, that she does not think Americans should have what she calls assault weapons or even guns themselves. Well, that's interesting. I happen to remember back in 2008 when she was debating Barack Obama over gun control, and she was much more pro-gun than Obama. They nicknamed her Annie Oakley. No, this man, he's delusional. Okay. But he continues. It's incrementalism, he said. Well, that's one thing that he's actually right about Hillary Clinton, is that, yes, she is very incrementalist. But not in this case. Quote, she will take one gun away, and then she'll take the next gun, and the next gun. And finally, there are no guns. So if you're supporting her, I'm not going to arm you. But see, look, that doesn't make sense. First off, America is a country that it has the right to bear arms enshrined in the Second Amendment. You would have to overturn that amendment. You know how difficult that would be? Incredibly difficult. Think about the last time we overturned an amendment. That was prohibition. And that took a while. But not only that, you've got more guns in this country than you have people. You can't just take away the guns. I'm not in favor of that. I'm sure most of you listening are not in favor of that. Okay? And look, neither is Hillary Clinton, neither is Bernie Sanders, or neither is Obama for that matter. Okay? But nonetheless, this guy thinks that no, they're taking our guns. They're going to take our guns. Obama's going to take our guns. Well, he's been in office for, nearly 8 years now? If he's going to come to get your guns, he would have done so already. I'm just saying. And ironically, at least when it comes to his store, this man is practicing gun control. But anyway, now as for Muslims, he says, look, I've never been comfortable selling guns to Muslims because, not because they're Muslims, because they want to destroy America. They want to destroy the American way of life. And so we're putting more and more Muslims, the religion that has declared war against us, which is wrong. If the entire religion declared war on us, well, there are billions of Muslims in this world. We would all be dead if the entire religion declared war on us. No, if you're talking about ISIS, look, ISIS is a problem, right? They're a huge problem. But at the same time, most of the Muslim world is against ISIS, is against Al-Qaeda. They do not believe in that. Most of these Muslim countries want to be left the fuck alone. And I'm in favor of leaving them the fuck alone. Just saying. But no, he says, I don't feel safe arming Muslims that are living in the United States because they could be terrorists. Well, okay, but here's what they have a background check system for. To check to see if you're a criminal or if you're on the terrorist watch list. Oh, but this guy, get this guy does not believe in background checks or any sort of gun control. Irony right there, man. Now, as for Obama and Clinton supporters, Chandler, as I said before, they want to take your guns. And he says they want to take guns out of the hands of people, and if they don't want guns in the hands of people, I'm helping them to not be a hypocrite. Here's the thing, right? There are a lot of liberal gun owners. I know a few of them. That's personal anecdote. I understand that. But you could look. Owning guns is not the sole province of right-wingers. There are a lot of left-wingers that do own firearms, that do believe in the Second Amendment. Now, they also believe in common sense gun control. Not, we're going to come take your guns. Because you know what? They'd be the first one to line up and say, no, you're fucking not. Gun control? Yes. Gun confiscation? Fuck you. That's their message. So, look, that's the thing. We want to make sure that terrorists do not get their hands on guns by instituting a national background check system, right? And looking at the no-fly list. And look, the terrorist watch list, the no-fly list, those are not perfect. I understand that you can get into some problems there, right? And we should refine that system. We should take a look at that. We should fix it. We should make it so that people can more easily get off the list if they prove that they don't have ties to terrorists. We got to watch out for profiling, that kind of thing. But still, there are people that cannot fly right now that are on this list because they're suspected to be a terrorist, but they can walk into a gun shop and buy the gun. Now, ironically, this guy, well, he sees that, he's like, oh, well, I'm not going to sell you a gun. Ironic, you are practicing gun control. Now, Chandler also says, we have a responsibility not to sell weapons to people we think we would use them in a crime or do something illegal with them. Okay. Before adding that he does not believe gun buyers should be subject to a criminal background check. I have to be honest to you, I just don't feel safe selling weapons to Muslims. But he says, I'm not denying them the right. They can buy a gun somewhere else. I'm just not going to be the one to sell it to them. All right. So look, I don't know about the legality of this, but there's hypocrisy here. All right. So he'll sell guns to white conservative Christians. And that's it. I mean, look, Hillary Clinton supporters, obviously more liberal. So he's not going to sell them to them. He's not going to sell the guns to them. He's not going to sell guns to Obama supporters. He previously told Obama to go to hell, all that stuff. So there's about half the country that he's like, hey, you know what? I'm not going to sell guns to you. Well, okay. I guess, right? But hey, they can go buy a gun somewhere else. So I don't know if it's really an accommodation issue, and I'll get into that in a minute. But so he's refusing to sell guns, but he supposedly believes in the Second Amendment and shouldn't be any limits, any sort of gun control. So as I said, there's that disconnect going on that I keep going back to. Now he does say that he will sell to a Muslim if they condemn the violent actions of Muslims doing terrorist attacks. Well, okay, I got news for you, dude. Most Muslims already condemn the attacks. For example, you've got CARE, right? That has condemned every single terrorist attack that has been perpetrated by a Muslim. They always come out after, something happens. And look, terrorist attacks by Muslims are actually pretty rare. But every time that it happens, someone comes out from CARE and says, we denounce this attack. Obviously, this person is not in the tenets of Islam or whatever like that, right? Now, when Think Progress asked if other buyers were asked to condemn the violent actions of strangers that happen to be the same religion, Chandler said, well, look, I'd have the same test for a Black Panther or a white supremacist. Okay, so he's saying, look, I'd be a little bit more fair. Okay, let's do the same test. But he did note that if someone were wearing a swastika, that would not be enough for them to return a sale. However, or refuse a sale. So, but here's the thing. If you have a turban on or a Hillary pin, no sale. If you have a swastika, hey, that's not so bad. I'll sell to you. But wait, I thought you had the same test for white supremacists. Your rules are all over the place, man. Now, they also asked if Christians had to condemn all the violent acts committed by members of their religion. Now, Chandler said he's happy to condemn so-called Christians who are bombing abortion clinics. Well, hey, that's progress, right? Have you came out and condemned Adam Lanza, for example, or the Aurora shooter, or any of the shooters that have been white Christians. I mean, sure, abortion clinics, yeah, okay, everybody condemns those. Are you going to condemn the people that go out and shoot and do terrorist attacks if they're white Christians? The guy in, what is it, Norway? Anders Breivik. Did you come out and say, hey, I condemn this. I condemn this shooting. This is horrible. I don't know. Maybe he did. I don't know. But if he didn't, that's hypocrisy. But anyway, he added that the Christian faith does tend to police their own, while Islam does not. Now, he also said about Muslims, the Muslim faith is pushing the agenda. Go to Detroit. They want Sharia law. Detroit. I'm guessing he means Dearborn, which actually has a very high Muslim population. Now, I haven't been to Dearborn, but I have been to Detroit. Nobody I've talked to wanted Sharia law. Nobody. And look, here's the thing. If you're a religious person, you want to live by your religious rules, right? Well, there's a lot of Christians that do live a little bit more of a biblical life. Okay, that's fine. For example, you've got people like the Amish. Well, they live according to their religion, which essentially takes them back to the 1800s. I've got no problem with those guys. But they've got a problem with people Muslims in Dearborn who really aren't hurting anybody. Now, if they're hurting some other people, well, that's a different issue. We've got laws to take care of that. But they're not. But no. They want Sharia law. Yeah, doubtful. Sharia law is not coming to America. Remember, we have a First Amendment that guarantees the right to religion for all people. It also says, hey, you can't have religious tests for office. You can't let one religion rule over all the others. That's not how America works. That's what a secular society is. So this guy is off his rocker. He doesn't know what he's talking about. Now, look, through all this, you might be surprised to know that I'm not even angry at this guy. I'm kind of just dumbfounded how ignorant he is about a lot of different things. I'm sure he thinks he's doing what's right. And I'm sure he's saying, hey, look, I'm trying not to deny somebody rights. I just don't feel comfortable. Okay, I get it. It's like the people that don't want to bake a cake for a gay person, except that it's a little bit different. Because we don't know if a gun store is actually public accommodation or not. He may or may not have the right to refuse. Now, there was a case that CARE brought to another gun store, which was thrown out by a judge. So right now, we don't know if he's not supposed to do that or if he's able to do that. We just don't know. And to be honest, I don't really want to open that door. Do I really want more guns being sold? Not a huge fan, I guess. But the whole point is, it just kind of speaks to the hypocrisy and ignorance of a certain subset of people who believe that anybody who isn't a white Christian Republican shouldn't have access to the same things, the same rights, the same protections as they do. And that's really my whole problem with this guy and my whole problem with this story. Hey everybody, thanks for watching this video. If you want to see more like this, please hit the subscribe button below. And if you want to support truly independent, non-corporate media, go to our Patreon page and become a patron. Patreon.com/TYTNation.